You know, it's amazing to me how much of our lives now, like how we connect with each other and build relationships, happens online.
It really is.
And it's opened up so many possibilities, right? But it's also, there's a flip side. A darker side has kind of emerged.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're seeing that, unfortunately, that search for love and connection is being exploited in some really concerning ways.
Yeah.
So today we're diving deep into this trend that is, frankly, pretty scary, and that's crypto romance scams.
Yeah.
And to help us really unpack this and understand it, you've brought some really fascinating material, excerpts from the work of Dr. Puyan Gamari.
Yes.
He's a Swiss economist and a futurist and an AI specialist.
That's right.
And his work is really helping us to understand the intersection of technology, finance, and unfortunately, fraud.
Yes, exactly. And I think, the mission today is to sort of delve into these sources and really understand how these scams operate, what makes them so effective in our current digital world, and crucially, what steps people can take to protect themselves.
Yeah.
So this is something that's affecting a lot of people.
It is. And to really illustrate this, we're going to focus on a specific story, the story of Sophia.
Okay.
She's a 36-year-old tech consultant.
Right.
So, somebody who's clearly comfortable in the digital world, understands technology.
Well, absolutely.
But what's so striking and frankly quite unsettling as we look at your sources is that even with her background, even with her tech savviness, she became a target.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the really important things to highlight here is that this isn't something that only happens to a certain type of person.
Right.
It can happen to anyone, really, because these scammers are so sophisticated.
They really are.
They're so good at what they do.
Yeah. And the way they take advantage of, people's hopes and dreams and their desires for connection it's scary.
It is. It's really scary. And I think what we're seeing is, and what Dr. Gamari's work has highlighted is that there's almost like a perfect storm
Yeah.
of, this increased online interaction that we're all, engaged in now.
Right.
Couple that with the allure of quick wealth and crypto and these sophisticated manipulation techniques, and you have this really fertile ground for these scams to flourish.
Yeah. So let's sort of unpack this, starting with Sophia's story.
Okay, sure.
So how does she get caught up in this? Well, like many people looking for a meaningful connection, she decided to try a dating app.
Right.
And this wasn't just any app. It was designed for professionals,
Okay.
people interested in technology and innovation.
Right. Right.
And it was there that she connected with a man calling himself Lucas.
Lucas, okay. And one of the things that's so fascinating and kind of disturbing when you look at the patterns described in these sources is how these online personas are constructed.
Yes.
It's almost like they're very meticulously put together. So Lucas, presents himself as this successful European entrepreneur,
Okay.
founder of a blockchain startup, someone who was constantly traveling for business, which, immediately kind of projects this image of success and sophistication.
It does. And their initial interactions, I mean, by all accounts, seemed completely normal.
Right.
They started with, casual chats, things that you would expect when you first connect with someone online.
Yeah, exactly.
And that gradually evolved into these deeper, more personal conversations, sharing aspirations, interests. I mean, they even swapped music playlists,
Oh, wow.
which can create a real sense of understanding, like, oh, we have the same taste in music.
Absolutely. That's that shared vulnerability, those common interests. That's often the foundation, right, on which trust is built. It is.
In any relationship, whether it's online or offline. So, the scammer will invest time and effort in making the victim feel seen,
Yeah.
understood, special,
That's all. Yeah.
and it's a very deliberate tactic to lower their guard.
So there's definitely a method to this.
Oh, absolutely. This is not random. This is very calculated.
So then comes the shift, and this is where things start to get interesting.
Okay.
Lucas, with his supposed expertise in the tech world, starts talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain.
Okay.
Right. And he positions himself as, this knowledgeable guide, and he's sort of subtly suggesting it as this potentially, lucrative investment opportunity for Sophia.
Right. And I think what's really key here is that the introduction of cryptocurrency, it's not abrupt.
Right.
It's carefully woven into the narrative of his success, his supposed success.
Right, exactly.
And his desire to share that knowledge with Sophia, seemingly for her benefit. Yeah. It's like, oh, I want to help you.
Yeah, exactly. I want to bring you into this world.
Right.
And I want you to benefit from this incredible opportunity. So he's establishing himself not just as a romantic interest, but also as a mentor
Oh, interesting.
in a potentially profitable area.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, like, hey, you should go invest in crypto. It was more subtle.
Oh, for sure.
He encouraged her to buy, just a little bit of Bitcoin at first,
Right.
just to kind of learn the ropes,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Just to get your feet wet.
Yeah, just dip your toe in.
It seems very harmless,
Yeah.
right? Very educational.
Yeah.
He framed it as this pathway to financial independence,
Yes.
emphasizing the decentralized nature of Bitcoin.
And it sounds so appealing, right? Like you're in control of your own finances. There's no big bank telling you what to do.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes cryptocurrency so appealing to some people, is that it's decentralized. There's no central authority like a bank controlling it. But the problem is that it also removes a lot of the traditional safeguards that you would have.
So there's a trade-off there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off. And I think what's insidious here is the way he normalizes cryptocurrency
Right.
and positions himself as this trustworthy source of information about it.
Yes, and the small initial investment, it's not just about, getting her familiar with the mechanics.
Right.
It's also kind of testing the waters.
Exactly.
Okay, is she willing to follow my financial advice?
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like a foot in the door technique.
It is. And then fast forward a few weeks, their connection has deepened.
Okay.
They're talking about a future together, painting this picture of a shared life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in this context, that emotional context, that he transitions from general crypto talk to suggesting a very specific investment.
Right.
Right. And he's assuring her of its incredible potential.
Yeah.
This is where, the emotional investment really comes into play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture of romance scams, as outlined in some of these sources, this transition is very, very common.
Yeah.
Because the emotional investment the victim has made makes them more susceptible
Right.
to believing the scammer's promises, especially when those promises are tied to their shared future.
It's almost like we're in this together.
Exactly. We're a team.
This is going to benefit us both. And Sophia, to her credit, she wasn't just jumping in blindly.
Okay.
She did have some initial caution.
Right.
But Lucas was very persuasive.
Yeah.
I mean, he presented everything so logically and, she trusted him.
And that trust has been built over time.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if someone like Sophia with her tech background can be targeted. I mean, what makes these scams so universally effective?
Well, I think part of it is the logic itself.
Right.
The logic plays on the hype surrounding cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
All the stories that we hear about people making fortunes.
Right.
So it makes it seem plausible.
It does. It feels real.
Yeah.
And when you couple that with the emotional validation that she's receiving from Lucas, it becomes this very powerful combination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it can override rational decision-making.
So you're not thinking straight.
Exactly.
And then comes the big ask.
Okay.
Lucas suggests that she send him 3 Bitcoin.
Wow.
3 Bitcoin, okay.
And he frames this as like this sign of commitment to their future, almost like a symbolic gesture.
Yep.
Show me that you're really in this.
Right, a gesture of faith.
Yeah, exactly.
In us, in our future together.
Right. But he also promises these incredible high returns.
Of course, yeah.
So again, playing on those desires for financial security, for a shared future.
And I think this raises a really interesting point, right?
Right.
About the nature of commitment in online relationships.
It does.
And how easily that concept can be manipulated
Yes.
for financial gain. The fact that he's requesting a significant amount of cryptocurrency under the guise of, future security.
It's a huge red flag.
It is a huge red flag.
But the emotional context, I think, often blinds the victim to that danger.
It does. And Sophia sends it. She sends him 3 Bitcoin, which at the time was worth over $150,000.
Wow.
That's not pocket change.
No. That's a life-changing amount of money for most people.
It is.
And it really speaks to, I think, the level of trust
Yeah.
that's required to send such a sum
Yeah.
to someone you've met online.
Right. And in the immediate aftermath, things seemed, at least on the surface, okay.
Right.
Lucas kept in touch. He was providing updates.
Oh.
But there was this noticeable shift.
Yeah.
He became more distant. His communication was filled with all this technical crypto jargon.
Right. which is, it can be very intimidating.
You're probably confusing.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
What is he talking about?
And it can also serve to, further establish the scammer's supposed expertise.
Exactly. Like, oh, he knows so much about this. And it can discourage the victim from asking questions.
Exactly. Because they don't want to appear ignorant.
And then the bottom drops out. Lucas vanishes.
Right.
Completely. Unanswered messages, unanswered calls, silence across all platforms, dating app, email, social media.
Just gone.
He was gone.
Yeah, and this is typical.
Yeah.
This sudden disappearance. Because once the scammer has the funds, maintaining contact serves no purpose.
Right.
And it only increases their risk.
So it's like, get the money and run.
Yeah. It's cruel,
Yeah.
but it's effective.
And Sophia, understandably, is frantic.
Right.
She tries to reach out to his so-called business associates. And the response that she gets is vague.
Yeah.
Something about, he's unavailable due to unforeseen circumstances.
Classic.
Right. And it's that moment, that cold, dismissive response that the reality hits her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She's been scammed.
Yeah.
And it's not just the financial loss, it's the emotional betrayal.
Yeah. And I think, the realization is often crushing.
Yes.
For victims, because it's not just the loss of money, it's the shattering of trust.
Right.
The feeling of being foolish, being vulnerable, and the emotional scars, I think, can be just as deep
Oh, absolutely.
and as long-lasting as the financial ones.
So let's kind of dig into this a little bit. Why are these scams so effective?
Okay.
One of the things that you highlighted was the emotional manipulation.
Right, and I think that's key. These scammers are masters
Yeah.
at exploiting our fundamental human desires.
Yeah.
The longing for connection, the yearning for love, the basic human trust that we extend
Yes.
to those that we feel close to.
Yeah.
And they build these elaborate emotional tapestries.
They do. They draw you in.
Yeah, to lower our defenses.
So you're not thinking critically.
Exactly. Your guard is down.
And then you talked about crypto obfuscation.
Yes.
So basically the anonymity and the complexity of cryptocurrency.
Right. And what's so fascinating here is that the very features that make cryptocurrency appealing to some people,
Right.
its decentralization, its anonymity, are also the things that make it so attractive to scammers.
Yeah. Because it's very difficult to trace.
It's incredibly difficult to trace.
Right. And once a transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, it's virtually impossible to reverse.
Exactly. Unlike a bank transfer, for example, that might be recalled.
Right.
In certain fraud cases, once a crypto transaction is done,
It's gone.
it's gone.
And the element of urgency and pressure is also really important here.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how Lucas, played on that shared future, creating this sense that Sophia needed to act now to secure it.
Absolutely. And that manufactured urgency, right,
Mhm.
is a classic manipulation tactic.
And it prevents you from really thinking it through.
Exactly.
Right. You feel like, I got to do this now or I'm going to miss out.
The fear of missing out.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the promise of these huge returns in the crypto market, which is so alluring, right?
Oh, yeah. It's incredibly tempting, especially with all the stories we hear about people making fortunes, overnight.
Right. Like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. So it plays on that human desire.
Weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So Sophia's story is a tough one, but it's so important to learn from it.
Absolutely.
What are the key takeaways here?
Well, I think the first and most crucial point is to exercise extreme caution
Yeah.
in online relationships, especially when the conversation turns to finances or cryptocurrency early on.
Yes.
A genuine connection, a real connection, usually develops more organically.
It does. It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time, and it doesn't typically involve these immediate financial opportunities.
Right. So be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
Right. If somebody's pushing that too soon, that's a red flag.
It is a red flag.
Yeah.
Be very wary.
And your sources also stress the importance of verifying identities online. Look for inconsistencies in their stories, do your own research, and really importantly, talk to trusted friends or family
Yes.
before making any financial decisions based on an online relationship.
Talk to someone you trust in the real world
Yes.
who can give you a more objective perspective.
That outside perspective is so important. And if someone that you meet online is pushing you to invest in cryptocurrency, especially if they're not really explaining the risks involved, huge red flag.
Massive red flag.
Huge.
Yeah. You need to understand what you're getting into
Yes.
before handing over any money.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting here is the level of pressure that some scammers exert.
They do.
They might discourage you from seeking outside advice.
Right.
Or they might claim that the opportunity is
You
time-sensitive.
have to act now.
Yeah. And these are all classic manipulation tactics
They are.
designed to isolate the victim.
And this is non-negotiable, all right? Never send money to someone you've only met online.
Yeah. I cannot stress that enough.
Regardless of the reason.
Regardless of the reason.
Investment, business venture, even if it seems like a legitimate personal reason.
Right.
If they're asking for cryptocurrency, that should send alarm bells ringing.
Absolutely. Because there's virtually no legitimate reason for someone you've met online to request cryptocurrency from you.
And finally, if you even suspect that you've been targeted, report it.
Yeah.
Report it to the authorities. Report it to the platform where you met them. The sooner you act, the better the chance of preventing further harm.
Exactly. And
Right.
even if, recovering your own funds might be unlikely,
Right.
reporting it helps to build a broader picture
It does.
of these scams,
Yeah.
allowing authorities and platforms to, identify patterns and potentially disrupt.
Yeah. It can help others.
Yes.
So even if you feel embarrassed, report it. And, one thing that Dr. Gamari really points out is that this is a global problem.
It's a global problem.
It's not limited to one region or one demographic.
Exactly. The anonymity that blockchain technology offers transcends borders. It transcends geographical boundaries.
And it makes it so easy for these scammers to operate internationally.
Yeah.
Right.
And target victims anywhere in the world.
And the financial losses are staggering. I mean, we're talking, hundreds of millions of dollars globally.
Hundreds of millions. And I think the FTC report you mentioned stated that Americans alone lost nearly $200 billion to romance scams in 2020.
Yeah.
And a significant chunk of that was related to cryptocurrency. So the scale of this problem is immense.
It is.
And I think it highlights the need for greater awareness,
Yes.
greater education about these scams, because the financial and emotional toll on victims is huge.
It's devastating. So Sophia's story, as heartbreaking as it is this really stark reminder
It is.
for all of us about the dangers that are out there, particularly when cryptocurrency enters the picture.
Absolutely.
It can be so alluring, but you have to be careful.
Yeah.
So we need to find that balance.
We do.
We want to enjoy the benefits of connecting online, but we also need to protect ourselves.
Yeah. A healthy dose of caution,
Exactly.
especially when it comes to your finances.
And it leads to this final thought, I think, for all of us.
You're right.
In this increasingly digital world, how can we balance that desire for human connection
Yeah.
with that need for security, for protecting ourselves?
That's a great question.
Especially as these new technologies like crypto continue to intersect with our lives, it's something to really think about.
It is. It's a very important question that we all need to grapple with.